All right, guys, welcome back. It's been a long break.
Right.
I was out of town last week, but we're
Shame.
back.
Yes, you missed a very good week of college football.
I know. We have a lot to catch up on,
Yes.
so let's jump right into it.
Yep.
Welcome back, guys. How are we doing today?
It feels like forever, but it's actually been not that long ago that we just filmed our last episode. So
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of talk around the college football about Washington, their big win over Oregon, and really excited to get started today.
Yeah.
It's been.
Like we said, I was out of town, but I sat down and watched almost that entire game.
Yeah, I was playing, so I was like, come watch this. Oh wow, this game is actually really good.
Yeah, I mean, what a close one. What a heartbreaker for Oregon.
I like Oregon, so I was devastated,
Yeah.
but I mean, you have to give credit to Washington. Michael Penix Jr. played incredible. Definitely right now, number one on the Heisman.
Yeah, for sure. He's so talented. It's funny. I always watch him play. I'm like, man, it looks so awkward the way he throws the ball, but it's such a beautiful ball.
I know, that's what
It's so weird.
And I'm like, I mean, it kind of looks like a Tua throw, honestly, but it's better if you ask me. But that was a crazy.
It's like the motion is more awkward, but the ball is nicer. You know,
if you're a left-handed quarterback, you're gonna be good. I mean, Tua, Michael Penix, but
yeah, man.
whatever. That was a crazy game. Washington got ranked 4 after their beat, I don't know, what Oregon dropped to.
Not sure. They're probably not too low.
Yeah, because
it's
a close one. But
just outside the top 10, I'm pretty sure.
yeah, but we have a lot to talk about today, so let's get right into it. Our first game is Penn State, who's ranked 7, and Ohio State, who's 3. It's gonna be a very good game. I mean, our two incredible teams with, I think it being at Ohio State, I'm pretty sure. Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a great game. Penn State's been flying on the radar for a while. They got a good all-around team. Had a good team last year. Got a lot of guys, but they just regrouped and have a very good defense.
Yeah,
it's gonna be an interesting game for Kyle McCord.
Yeah, I'd start this off with maybe a hot take. Ohio State is not the number 3 team in the nation. We're going to start off with that. Ohio State, they're good. They're not Ohio State typical good this year, and they're certainly not number 3 in the nation this year. But they're still very talented, and I think Ohio State and Penn State are actually two very, very closely skilled teams. I think we're looking at a bit more defense, being the Big Ten and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I think both teams have rock solid defense and steady offense. So I don't see this being too much of a blowout either way. I think this is going to be a very close, competitive, physical Big Ten matchup, and I think it can go either way. I think, for Ohio State, it looks good. If they win, Penn State, it looks great if they win.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm going to say Ohio State takes this, but I'm not going to be surprised if Penn State comes out and beats them.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, but I think it's definitely a low-scoring game with Marvin Harrison could absolutely smoke their team, but you lose Joey Porter Jr. for Penn State in the draft, but they just regained commitments for young guys, and they just immediately got better players. So it's gonna be tough. And Kyle McCord got swept away with a Notre Dame win, which we don't know how really good Notre Dame is because they lost against Louisville, and it's a very interesting season. But I think Penn State's a very qualified team to face Ohio State. But I'm gonna pick Ohio State 24-21 game, close game.
Got a scoreline similar to that. I think the game's within 3. Maybe in 20s, maybe 21-17, something like that. But yeah, also thinking Ohio State's going to win that one.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we got Tennessee versus Alabama.
Rematch. That was a great game. Yeah, I was in West Virginia, watching the game on this teeny tiny iPad TV. I was so close. I was like, oh, and they get the field goal. That was a great game, but Joe Milton is lights out, not Jalen Milroy, very different. But they're very similar quarterbacks. Joe Milton can chuck the ball 100 yards. It's insane. Yeah, but so does Jalen Milroy. but it's going to be a very electric game. I'm thinking I'll be really surprised if it's a low-scoring game like the Penn State-Ohio State game. But this is going to be a high-scoring game, just like last time. The quarterbacks are going to have to step up, and their teams are good, but 17 at Tennessee, they need to bounce back, and 11 at Bama. I think they're underrated by a lot.
I think Bama's underrated this year?
Yeah. I mean, 11, you could put them at... I know how good all these teams are this year, and it's hard, but I do think Nick Saban's still the best coach in the league. What he's shown, Nick Saban will be there too, what he's done. But I think Nick Saban has got this game under control for really the most part. It is kind of the same offense, just a Hendon Hooker, and they're very similar quarterbacks, but it'll be a very close game.
Yeah, I think what I've seen on the Alabama side of things is slow start, team getting used to new quarterback and getting used to just settling in really. And I think now we're looking at Alabama that has kind of settled in. They have some easy games in the first couple weeks, and it allowed them to step up and start to figure out their offense. And I think now we're looking at Alabama that actually deserves a higher ranking, like their 11 ranking. I think it's maybe a little higher, but I definitely think Bama at the beginning of the season was not a top 10 team. But I think now they're getting to that point where that's where they should be.
Yeah,
and I think this will be a close game again. But I think Bama takes it again.
Yeah,
I got Bama in this one.
Yeah, I'll take Bama too. Just uncertainty of the playmakers around Tennessee. Can they deliver like they did last year? Lose Jalen Hyatt, Hendon Hooker, so many incredible players. I'm picking Bama 49-35 around that high-scoring game at Tennessee, so that'll be electric. Back-to-back games for Bama against Tennessee in their home stadium, so it'll be a very exciting game to watch. Sneaky game, I think, for people too.
Yeah, I agree for sure. I think, I think it's going to be a great one. And next up, we got another huge Pac-12 matchup this week. We have USC versus Utah.
What happened to USC? Ranked, 18? I mean, come on, we got the Heisman Trophy winner. Falling like that? It's
28 points. They lost by Notre Dame to 28 points.
That's embarrassing.
It is embarrassing. I think it was kind of inevitable with their defense. I think Notre Dame has a very underrated defense this year, not been talked about too much, but I think their defense is incredible this year. And they put a stop to Caleb Williams, letting him only put up, what he put up, 20 points. They put up 20 points on offense. So I think we're really looking at a stout Notre Dame defense. And I think what Notre Dame did was show when there's a good defense and even a decent offense, Notre Dame does not have the best offense.
Yeah.
They sliced through USC's defense, which is just full of holes this year, which is a shame. Even with their electric offense.
We knew USC's defense was not that good. I mean, sure, you're only with Caleb Williams. We said you only need 2 turnovers to win the game, but they haven't gotten the turnovers, and Caleb Williams has produced, but you can't have a one-man band. And this year in the Pac-12, I mean, sure, he's really good, but you got Michael Penix Jr., who's leading arguably the best offense, very underrated defense. Bo Nix coming off a really good game for it, honestly.
Even Shedeur Sanders, even though Colorado's hype is kind of a little less than it was, he's still very talented.
Yeah.
And you can't throw 3 interceptions in the first half of a football. I mean, maybe not all of them were his fault, but you can't be throwing that many interceptions. That's not a Caleb Williams. We've seen a lot.
Yeah.
But I think Notre Dame just kind of went out there and embarrassed him.
Yeah.
And I think USC is probably better than 18. Probably top 10, but I'm not.
They haven't shown it
towards the back end of that top 10. But I think this is going to be very interesting because Utah has an incredible defense. They're so physical. But without Cam Rising,
He's out.
their offense hasn't been able to move. So I think we might see a very low scoring game. But honestly, even if Caleb Williams can just get 1 to 2 good drives, they're probably going to be able to take down Utah. But I also think this is another week that might show just how bad USC's defense is, because if they can't stop what's looked to be, quite honestly, a terrible Utah offense this year, then I think that really speaks volumes about USC's defensive issues. But I think this one's going to be surprisingly close. But I'm still taking USC with a little bit of a vengeance to come back out there and prove they're still the dogs.
Yeah. Most definitely. Without Cameron Rising, Utah offense is not going to be productive like he was last year. He won the Pac-12 champion. No. Yeah, they did. And then they lost the Rose Bowl against Penn State. But he's kind of like mentoring the other quarterback, but it's not really showing. I mean, it's only a short-term thing, but I mean, it's going to be a very interesting game. Utah is by far, I know we talked about underrated teams, but I think they're a very underrated team, and they won Pac-12 2 years in a row now, and it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be a close game, honestly. I think Utah's going to play good in the first half. The second half, I think Kelly Williams is going to like settle down, and I think you're going to win like 56-24.
Okay, that's a good win.
Yeah. I mean, with them at 18, beating a 14-ranked Utah, I'll put them maybe, we have to look at the rankings, but like a 15 or maybe even 10. But
I think this is going to be a little lower scoring than that. I think Utah get about 10 to 14, and USC is going to look 21-24, somewhere in there.
Much different than last score.
Yeah, I think it'll be a little lower scoring just because Utah's stout defense and lack of offense.
Yeah. So next we got some big points just to run down, talk about them.
What is going on in college football, basically, outside of the matchups?
I mean, Duke, in my opinion, is not a football school. They're just putting it out there. Washington should be number 1. Georgia is overrated. I'm not a Georgia fan. Like, I'm best friends with a guy who loves Georgia, and it's just so annoying. LSU, for the most part right now, is dead. And Clemson's better than people think. I know it's kind of hard because we are huge Clemson fans.
So, we're actually going to rename this segment Maddox Hot Take on football.
Yeah, because he will be not a part of this.
Every week, this is going to be Maddox's Hot Takes on football. Welcome to the start of a brand new segment. All right. First hot take. Duke is not a football school. You're right. They're a lacrosse school. But this year, they have a football team.
Yeah, I mean, Raleigh Letter is good.
We're a basketball school. Sorry.
Awesome. But, I mean,
last year was rough. And so they switched to football instead of basketball. They said, we'll have a good football team this year because we got to make up for last year's basketball team.
It's a pointing loss in the Final Four.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I get what they UNC's coach right now is doing is really good, but he's probably going to take a job somewhere else. UNC.
You mean Duke?
Yes. I said it first. And
then you said Duke. So he's switching UNC. What are we talking about?
Yeah, Duke's head coach. I think he's going to take a head coaching job somewhere else or talking about it.
And you wonder why he has these hot takes. No. All right. Yeah.
Next, we have Washington should be number 1.
I
mean, they were put in number 1 by a lot of people, and before they beat Oregon, when they come out and beat Oregon with Michael Penix Jr. playing incredible, I would put them over Georgia, and Georgia's not playing their best football.
Yeah. Well, I think Georgia has not looked great this year. Michigan's flying under the radar, but they're very, very solid this year.
Yes.
They've scored more defensively in the third quarter than they have allowed score. They have not been scored on a single time in the third quarter, and they got a pick 6 against who it was. They got a pick 6 in week 7 or week 6, whoever they were playing. So they've scored more in the third quarter than they've been scored on. With
that,
like
They were very underrated.
They're very underrated.
McCarthy, it's like,
So I don't have a problem with sliding Georgia out because they haven't played anybody except Kentucky.
yeah,
I think Washington, Michigan, and Georgia are your currently top 3 teams for sure.
yeah.
I don't debate that. I think they're definitely your top 3. And I think you can slide Georgia out, even though I do think they're still solid. I think you can slide them out just on strength of schedule. And then I think it's close between Michigan and Washington. I think they're both really great squads. I think Washington, their defense is good, but it's not nearly as good as Michigan's.
Yeah.
I think what we've seen out of both Michigan and Georgia is kind of like some slow starts, and then that second half comes out and they just roll them.
Yeah.
Versus Washington, they're just kind of rolling them the entire time. So I don't know that I have a problem with putting Washington at number 1. I think it's just I think they're all pretty close in that top 3. So I guess I don't have a preference for who's number 1. I think we're just looking at a great year for college football and a lot of talented squads.
Yeah. And Georgia's, it's hard to move them out of the top 3 because then 2-time defending champ, you got Kirby Smart still there, but they haven't really played anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a very close game against Auburn, and then you roll Kentucky, which I thought Kentucky would win. That was, but
Hot take.
very hot. But it's been an interesting year. I predicted them not to win the championship. I thought Clemson would win. That's not going so well. I thought Ohio State would be in the championship with Clemson, and that's still a possibility, but right now I think Washington could win the championship easily. Any of the top 5 or even 6 teams could win the championship. It's just a very good year.
Yeah, and you love to see it, and goes for the expansion. This is what we want college football to look like for sure.
And next we have, it slides in perfectly, Georgia is overrated, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like we talked about, we won't spend too much time on this, but they got a good team, very good team, but the talent's there. But they've got hit so many times on the draft, losing so many players, which is good, but not really actually good. Would you rather be a Georgia fan who has talent all over the board, but they used to lose it all in 1 year, or you have rising stars and they lost it in 2 full years and now they're down to like scraps, but guys who will be good in the future. I don't think this is their year.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree that this is not the same Georgia we've had the past 2 years. I would say though they're still very talented squad. I think the biggest thing is we just haven't been able to see them play anybody except Kentucky. But the way they played Kentucky was very different from the way they've played their other easy matchups this year, and I think that showed me something that maybe they're not overrated as much as I thought they were. But I also think they've been playing mostly cupcakes. So even though they're two-time defending champs, I still don't think they deserve to be number 1 in the nation. And I think they probably won't lose until the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to win the national championship.
I mean, SEC title. It's kind of like how
it's interesting. The SEC is
yeah.
having a little bit of a less good year, not quite as strong as they've been in the decade.
Yeah.
And now the Pac-12 in their last year of existence is
maybe
probably
that's either like we're bringing it right back.
Actually, yes, and this undo all this contract. We're coming right back. But yeah, we got the Pac-12 left currently with what is it, Cal and Oregon? No, it's Cal and Stanford, right? Maybe. We're not sure. We don't know anything. But yeah, Pac-12 is probably the strongest conference in college football right now. ACC is having a stronger year than usual. Big 12's even still looking good, and I think we're just looking at a slightly weaker SEC, but still a power conference, powerful.
And next segment also slides really nice in the last one. LSU is dead, ranked at 5th. A lot of high hopes. I wasn't really buying it. Jalen Daniels was like Joe Burrow second year, as he came in first year, second year was remarkable. First year for Jalen Daniels was really good. Second year, you lose to Florida State.
Yeah.
And which understandably, at the time, we were like, wow, LSU is good, but now we're like, yeah, they would smoke them now. But
Yeah,
weird year for
I don't know. I do think. Yeah, and I think they're just a decent football team. They're not maybe what people were expecting, maybe as much improvement as people were expecting, but I think we're still looking at a solid LSU squad. I think, I think they're not dead. They're just not where people expect them to be. I think they're still probably a top 20 team, but they're not a top 10 team like they were ranked at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
I would agree with that part.
Yeah. Next, we have Clemson is better than people think. Not even right. Disrespect. Right. Same schedule as Georgia, and they're still ranked number 1. The reasons we listen, and we have a stronger schedule. Barely lost to Florida State, and we're not ranked. I mean,
yeah.
But Fresno State's heck 24.
Yeah. I don't see a problem with putting Clemson in the rankings. I think they probably should be in the top 25. They're still solid. They're only had 2 losses.
Yeah, one is Florida State. Florida State.
On a field goal that should have gone in and won the game. Big news, breaking news. I'm going to walk on and kick Clemson, actually.
We'll take anybody, honestly. We hired this, scrub who's, about to take a job at probably Walmart. And then he's like, hey, that was when I come kick. And he makes 2 good ones, and then he misses. I mean, proud.
Yeah, I didn't know. Really good slack, but just...
I give him no slack.
No slack. It is a big hit for them to be missing BT Potter and that consistency. Yep. That very, very vital for his 6 years. Wow, jeez.
Yeah,
right in line, old kick of that. Sometimes that's the struggle, and can make a team, could break a team to have that solid kicker.
Let's break.
But yeah, I think Clemson deserves to be top 25. I would give them that. They're not. I don't think they'll end up making the ACC championship. They might.
I mean, we got Notre Dame coming up. If we beat them, we got UNC, NC State.
I think if Clemson beats Notre Dame, you got to put them in. If they don't put Clemson in, and Clemson beats Notre Dame,
I want to say the body work.
Put them in, then I definitely have a huge problem with that.
I'm about to get really. We're gonna have our own episode. CFP is
rigged.
Grifted. Not fair. But that most definitely, we still have a good chance. We have a very tough schedule.
Yeah.
And that's good because we have a lot to prove to people, like we said. But it's going to be a very interesting year.
Yeah.
Next, we have an overrated player and team. Kind of already talked about this. Georgia? Georgia's my overrated team. And what is your overrated team?
Who is overrated? Florida State.
Ha! Yes.
Florida State's overrated. They lost unranked Clemson, so they must be, or they almost lost unranked Clemson, so they must be not very talented, right?
Lynch kicker.
Yeah, no, I think Florida State is solid. I think they're a good team. I think there are at least 4 teams in college football that would beat them.
Yep.
I think Washington would beat them. I think Michigan would beat them. I think Georgia would beat them.
Yep.
I think, USC might have a chance against them.
Yeah.
I think Oregon could beat them. I mean, it's like...
They ranked 4 or 5.
Florida State?
Yeah.
Not sure. With a quick Google search, we can find out what we don't know.
We don't know. So Google is like our best friend.
Yeah. Moving on from our favorite segment, our brand new segment, Maddox Hot Takes.
Very hot and like spicy wings from Buffalo.
Spicy wings.
Spicy wings, boys.
That would not go well. I cannot handle spice.
I love spicy food. I don't like spicy.
Bro, my Mickey Mouse shoes, y'all see these? Y'all flexing on y'all of these Mickey Mouse shoes. What do you think, Maddox?
I mean, I walked in. Those bowing.
Started bowing down. He said, "Yeah, no. I'm looking comfy today. We're in the pajama fit. This is getting kept in the in the final edit, by the way, Maddox. I'm not cutting this.
They're ranked 4. Wait, hold on. Give me 4. No,
What do you mean, no?
ESPN's weird. Fuck. Stand.
Oh.
Or you guys have a Samsung.
Loading. That's all right. I'll just keep forging it in here. Commercial break.
Sponsored by.
Hey guys, we're sponsored by nobody. If anybody wants to, if you'd like to be our sponsor, yeah, to www.h.
I'll give you his phone number. They're ranked 4.
They're ranked 4.
That's it.
Overrated. Okay.
But there we go. Finally got that. But they're ranked 4. I definitely agree they're overrated.
I think they deserve to be in the top 10, but I don't think they deserve to be top 4.
Yeah. But
that's Langston's hot take for the episode.
I got like 5, 6.
Bro, listen to these jingle bells.
It's Thanksgiving or Halloween.
Yeah, they're on like a squash.
Pumpkin.
But they're like Halloween and like fall colored.
I don't. All the way to Thanksgiving is just a blur.
It's fall. Fall's my favorite season. It's just fall activities. Y'all like the fire today? We changed up the set. I know we keep changing the set every single episode, but we're gonna find one we like. I think
may even be in a tree one of it.
I think we're settling on this one.
Comment if you actually
yeah.
Let us know. Tree, house, ceiling, roof. I would love to go on your roof. If
I
mean,
that's not a great idea.
I have a pool.
That's not. Where
does
he float there like?
Hey guy. But my overrated player is Brock Bowers. I know.
You mean Mr. IR?
But
he got hurt.
Yeah, and he kind of.
Is that why he's overrated? He's skill issue. He got injured.
He's not that good, but he's a very good tight end. He's the best tight end in the league, I think. But you put him mock draft, he's like 3, 4. I mean,
yeah.
We said the same thing about Michael Mayer, and right now he's still good. But Brock Bowers is really going to be a tight end 1 for week 1. I mean, he's good, but injuries could be a problem.
Yeah.
He didn't get I think the main reason George is not feeding him the ball a lot, because you saw in the playoff game against Ohio State, most were really late State watching that. Like he had like one target in the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, he had like 20. So it's crazy. But Georgia wants to have him the productive year, or maybe keep the 1 spot for a very long time. Just give him the ball. He's a very talented player, just not expressing it as he did last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have an overrated player at all, maybe?
Overrated? Who's overrated?
Nick Saban.
He's not a player. He's not a player. He might be a player, but he's not a player.
Rolling with the ladies. Pretty sure it's there.
Yeah, I can give you an overrated player.
Don't say kid. Don't say kid. What are you about to say?
Jordan Travis.
Yes.
Stick with Florida State.
We're like,
good.
If you're a Florida State fan,
be good. He's probably Heisman candidate. Good.
Yeah, if you're a Florida State fan, we are very sorry.
Yeah, we are so
bad episode.
My old soccer coach was a Florida State fan, and I felt really bad for him because they hadn't been good in a while. They're finally good, but now they're overrated. And this is nothing against you, Coach. It's Florida State's fault, not yours.
Ball. No one thought that was funny. There's probably one guy listening. That was when you just chuckling. And if you're laughing, thank you. You know my hot take.
Yeah. We're all laughing in your hot takes.
Look, group chat just say LOL. I can understand LOL. My friend, I was just in the car with somebody. LOL.
I don't say that out loud. I just I'll text it.
Just say I'm not.
Heard of that podcast? The LOL podcast.
I'm never coming back if we name this LOL podcast.
No, it exists. It's a real thing. I was watching it today. It's pretty good. They just switched to uploading like twice a week.
So they just what they do on it?
They just talk about like their life. It's
very dramatic.
It's really entertaining because they're all I don't know. They're all pretty entertaining and
like us.
It's pretty funny. Like check it out. You might like it. You might not. Free advertising and promotion for that.
They owe us $1.
They're a big podcast anyway. Yeah, they're gonna like follow us,
Shout us out.
show us
Yeah.
their video.
Well,
Go watch this podcast because they mentioned us.
yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Gridiron Talk. We will see you next week. Peace.